Brett McMurphy on 3, long sit-down interview with Art Briles. And he does talk about Baylor. His son, Kendall, and his son-in-law, Jeff Lebby, talk about Baylor. I wouldn't say it's at length, but there's some interesting things in there. I'm sure most of you have read the article. I found the Texas Tech thing very interesting. But of course, I also found the UT aspect of this very interesting. A few months ago, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, Art was there. Bryce Petty was one of the MCs with them. And they were talking about this proposed Texas deal that came in 2013. He confirms it in the story here that he said he had accepted a deal from UT. And then Baylor lost to UCF. And he pulled out. He said, I'm staying at Baylor. Felt there was some unfinished business there, which is cool. There was. You know, Blake Bortles brought in the Charlie Strong era because that's where UT pivoted to. And I just had this thought of how different everything would have been had he taken that deal. There's so many things that would have been different, right? Baylor probably does not get completely swallowed up by this SA scandal that they end up getting into with Art Briles as the coach. There are probably some things that still come out, and there are some changes that are made, but with the coach already gone, there's only so much you do, right? Like I don't think there's this widespread get everyone out of the athletic department. I don't. And I think Baylor's in a spot at the end of 2013 where they can hire a dynamite coach. And maybe they would have even said, hey, Kendall, it's your time. That would have been a little too early because Kendall didn't start calling the plays until the 2014 season, which was the next year. But could have been the way they went. Montgomery, Kendall, whatever. And I think of what would have been different for UT. Because I'll tell you this, in my humble opinion, if any kind of SA scandal breaks out at Baylor after Art leaves and it's tied back to Art Briles, I do not think the University of Texas fires him. I don't. I think they find a way to blame someone else, blame the system, and say, Art Briles is our coach. That is just a school that can't handle it. It's a bunch of hooligans. Shouldn't send your kids there. We're the GD University of Texas, and Art Briles is our football coach. Come and take him. I think that's exactly how they would have handled it. And, you know, you could say, well, they fired Chris Beard after that. And sure, that happens. I'd say this. There's a difference between basketball and football at the University of Texas and what they value, and basically any school, to be fair, and how they value their image in basketball versus their image in football, and which one brings the school money. But there's also this. Charlie Strong gets hired that year. And a lot of people forget about this. They basically usher Mac Brown out the door a year after they played for the Big 12 championship at Floyd Casey Stadium. And they bring in Charlie Strong. And from the time he gets there in January to the time they kick off the season in early September, he either dismisses or suspends 11 players from the Mac Brown era. 11. I remember there was questions like, what is going on here at UT? If Mac Brown, the guy they were trying to push out, can get away with whatever these players were getting away with, then their golden coach, Art Briles, who they pried from one of their quote-unquote little brothers within the conference, they were not going to send him away. They weren't. Who knows what these 11 guys were getting into at UT? That they just said, whatever, Mac Brown's a legend. Let him run it however he wants it. If that's how they were doing with Mac Brown, a guy they were trying to get out, you really think they would have fired Art Briles over some lingering accusations from a different school? No freaking way. Art Briles would still be the Texas Longhorns head coach right now. Because of the 2 points made by the message board genius that was all over Twitter this week, one of them was correct, and that was Art was a damn good football coach. And I think if he had stayed, if none of this had ever happened, he probably would have delivered a national championship to Baylor at this point. Baylor. They were in the top 5 and they were getting better. So what do you think he'd be doing at UT? A couple national championships. I truly, with my whole heart, believe that. As much as it almost makes me want to vomit to say, I think that would have happened. And by the way, if he takes this deal, I'll tell you what, man, a lot of these people in the message boards, a lot of these people that are typing their comments onto YouTube right now or tweeting at Locked On Baylor to defend Art Briles and say how great he is and how much he got railroaded, those people would be throwing him under the bus. Because to them, he would have committed the ultimate sin. Not what actually happened to Baylor, but leaving them as a stepping stone job to go to one of their fiercest rivals. And just confirm the greatest fear that we have for any good, sharp coach that brings success to Baylor, that they will leave for big money at the first time of asking to Texas or Texas A&M or Oklahoma. I'll include them in here too. That's Baylor's fans' biggest fear. And if that actually happened, there wouldn't be a bunch of defenders. There wouldn't be a bunch of people talking about how Art got railroaded. Even if they believe it, they wouldn't care. They'd be throwing him under the bus and they'd be calling for UT to fire him so Baylor could hire him back. Am I crazy? I don't know, man. Let me know in the comment section below. I think he would still be the coach of the Texas Longhorns, and he would have brought them tremendous success. And I do believe, again, whether this is right or wrong, however you look at this Baylor Art Briles situation, I think if that exact case happened at Georgia right now, for an example, or Ohio State right now as another example, I don't think Kirby Smart or Ryan Day gets fired. I don't. And I don't necessarily think that's right. Right? There are some things that are bigger than football. But with how much is attached to college football these days, how much an institution survives off it, and the ludicrous money going to everyone involved, coaches, players, networks, stadiums, universities, I don't think there's any chance if this same thing happened at Georgia, they would fire Kirby Smart. I just don't think it would happen. If it happened under Art Briles at the University of Texas, I don't think he'd be fired. At Oklahoma, I don't think he'd be fired. I don't. But that's my 2 cents on it. Let me know what you think. How stupid am I? How spot on am I? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video. Subscribe to the channel. We come at you every weekday on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well, covering the Big 12, things that break about Baylor, and of course, being the #1 Baylor football show on YouTube. Thank you so much for making it your first listen today and every day. We will see you on the next edition of your favorite show, Locked On Baylor.